Hello everybody and good evening. I hope you're enjoying the weekend. It's 6 o'clock here in Wellington and it's quite cold. We have about 13 degrees tonight. It was such a beautiful day today actually, and me and my partner just went for a walk. We went near where the famous Brooklyn wind turbine is, and it was such a panoramic walk, really quite enjoyable. It didn't seem like winter at all. It seemed like a cool summer's day. Please log into Facebook or Twitter so that when you have your questions for this episode, then you can just write them or send them in, or as I said before, if you have Skype, it would also be best to call by Skype. For starters, there has been a great awakening with regard to the situation in the Arctic. We know, all of us know, that there is global warming, and the effects of global warming is truly catastrophic, most especially for low-lying areas in the world. And it's not just that. Because of the global warming, the Arctic ice is melting, and I'm gonna show you a picture which was taken, two pictures taken, one in 1980 and one in 2012, and you can definitely see the difference in the volume of ice in the Arctic. And because of the melting ice in the Arctic, the oil companies are now scampering and racing to go to the Arctic and drill for oil. You get to wonder, with this kind of perspective, we really are not helping the Earth. The ice is melting. The polar bears and all the other species living in the Arctic are losing their natural habitat. And because of that, instead of joining together and trying to find a solution to this problem, the oil companies are chasing this opportunity and going to the Arctic and wanting to drill oil. It's truly ridiculous. I'm going to show you the campaign of Greenpeace. Just imagine if this would really happen. The video is actually quite cool, and it really raises awareness, and it's just featuring one polar bear. I was wondering if all the polar bears in the Arctic go walking in the city, that would be so disastrous. But that is what we're doing actually, you know. We are destroying their habitat. Watch this video.
As the Arctic melts, the rush to exploit its resources is starting. Nobody will listen to her, but they'll listen to you. Join the movement. Save the Arctic.
Greenpeace was very actively campaigning for awareness and asking even the celebrities all over the world to help raise awareness for what's happening in the Arctic. The problem with us is just because we do not see it, we forget that there are very important struggles out there every day. We just go on with our lives doing our daily routine, and we become oblivious to those things that matter most. with this video, you can see the dire consequence of the destruction of the Arctic. And they started this campaign full force 4 weeks ago. They have managed to gain more than 1 million signatures for the petition and the support from all over the world. You might say, wow, 1 million people signed from all over the world. But if you think about it, how many are we in the world? How big is the population in the world? More or less about 7 billion. And let's just be quite conservative with it. Let's slash it to half of it. So 3.5 billion. We just have 1 million respondents and people willing to show support in a span of 4 weeks. I'm not belittling the effort, but I'm just really thinking that we could do so much more if we tell everybody about what matters most. As I said, because we don't see it, we really don't realize the gravity, that how it affects us, all of us, even the coming generations. This generation is like a generation which is just focused on consumption, not conservation. And once we're done, we wonder what's gonna be left for the future generation. I found a video that could actually be a good idea for those oil companies rushing to go to the Arctic, chasing each other to get to the prime spot. Watch this video, and we have much of it, and perhaps this is what they need to look into to find an alternative source of fuel.
There's no shortage of plastic waste in the chronically polluted Philippines. But now one company, Polygreen Technology and Resources, is putting the waste plastic to good use by turning it into fuel. Much of the plastic comes from Manila's mountainous Payatas landfill, where the city's poorest residents eke out a living collecting and selling the trash. It ends up at Polygreen's plant nearby, where founder Jamie Navarro exposes it to a process called pyrolysis.
By pyrolysis, we can decompose plastic into diesel, gasoline, and kerosene.
Navarro says the process is simple. First, plastic waste is placed on a conveyor belt for shredding and drying. Then it's put into an airtight thermal chamber for decomposition. Inside, the granulated plastic gets melted into vapors that are distilled into this, a golden liquid that is chemically identical to regular fuel. Only it's better, says the company, as pollutants from the incineration process are minimal, and the quality of the fuel is cleaner due to its low sulfur content. It's also 10 to 20% cheaper than regular fuel because of large supply of plastic waste and lower production cost. Right now, the plastic fuel is approved for industrial use and is being tested for vehicles, with promising results. This one factory can produce around 1,600 liters of fuel from 2 metric tons of plastic waste daily. In Manila alone, 10 million people produce an estimated 6,000 tons of trash a day. While plastic fuel technology isn't anything new, Navarro believes that an industrial-scale version of his technology could not only help drivers on the road, but help the country dig itself out of its trash problem. Ellie Park, Reuters.
Wasn't that amazing? I mean, if we can just mine the trash, the plastic trash that we have, not just in the Philippines, but it's a major problem everywhere in the world. If we're able to use the plastic and convert them into fuel, wouldn't that be great? I mean, you can use all the plastic that you want because we're gonna get fuel out of them anyway. So for the oil companies, they don't have to drill, they don't have to disturb the natural resources, but it's just so cheaper and more efficient if they put in funds to further the research of this alternative. I think it's quite a win-win situation for ordinary people like us. How do we help? Simple things. If we're not using electricity, make sure we switch everything off, unplug everything. With regard to fuel consumption, if you're just gonna drive by yourself, maybe consider just walking or taking the bus. It's always good to walk, and also walk with friends or even carpool. Simple things like that. If, for example, you spend a lot of time watching television, maybe try to read or try to go out and interact with people. And small things like that, when you accumulate them, they become big things and they become very significant. It's just a suggestion. One more thing is changing the light bulbs into environment friendly bulbs. So things to think about. Wouldn't it be great if the companies like Shell just tap the trash and make it into oil or petrol? It would be fantastic. But before we move on, I would also like to express my condolences to the victims in the United States. There was a really awful shooting in Colorado during the premiere of The Dark Knight Rises. So my sympathies to them and my prayers are with them. Sometimes we just really cannot fathom why things like this happen. Most especially if you have read that the guy had no violent history, he was just keeping to himself. You get to wonder what triggered this situation to have this horrific outcome. Maybe sometimes it is also not good to just withdraw, or if we know of a person who's just spending time on his own, maybe it would also be good for us to just check if they're okay, most especially if they're part of our families or our network of friends. One phone call or one hello could make a huge difference. Just think about it. For your questions, I will be showing you on screen how to send in your question. It's through Facebook, Twitter, and Ustream, and as I said, through Skype also. You can call me. My username is Realesta. It will always be clear through Skype. Or you can also go to my website, Zammtopia.com. Just use the social networking chat box which is there, and but you'll need to log on to Facebook and Twitter. For our next segment, before you send in your question, let's go on to the Tarot Weekly Focus. So this is your guidance, our guidance for the coming week of July 21st to July 28th. If you've watched before, the Tarot Weekly Focus is just a means to guide us, okay? It is talking about the tendencies or the energies around us, and if we're able to manage those energies, then we could always enhance our outcome. Okay, today I'm using the Thoth Tarot. Some people pronounce it as Thoth, Thoth, or Thoth, but in Arabic it is actually Tahot. Okay, so this is a card. And our card for tomorrow, which is Sunday, is the Queen of Wands. Wow, it is such a fiery energy basically, so it will be up to us how to manage this fiery energy. If you are inclined in creative pursuits, then you might have some breakthroughs with your art, with your music that you compose, or with other projects that have creative inclinations. If, for example, you feel that you have been lacking in passion in the recent past, then tomorrow is such a good time to try to stoke the fire. If you have been contemplating on doing something different that could perhaps make you feel alive, like a new adventure, travel, then by all means, it is really good to think about it and plan about it. The energies will be very favorable on your end. However, with the Queen of Wands, because it is such a fiery energy, then if you have a tendency to be irritable or quite annoyed easily recently, then you need to temper that fire in you, because with the energies tomorrow, then some confrontations could occur, and we don't want that, right? We want the energies to be positive and productive, not counterproductive. Go out there, use it, create things, even in your thoughts, because when you visualize them and you're enthusiastic and passionate about those thoughts, then it is easy for you to manifest them. So tomorrow is such a good creative energy. Use it wisely. On Monday, we have the Princess of Swords. It will be about decisions or ideas. Firstly, when we're talking about decisions, you are encouraged not to decide on impulse. It means that whatever facts you have or whatever information you have, it's not enough for you to be able to decide wisely. You have to dig deep. You have to find out more. Do not be driven by the need to decide right there and then, because it won't be helping you. With regard to ideas, if you have ideas, then it means that you keep those ideas because they're very important. However, these ideas are quite immature. They're like babies and they need to be nurtured. You need to feed your ideas in order for them to blossom into something stronger and executable. But in having said that, when you have those ideas, do not disregard them. Keep them. You are also advised, if you can delay such decision until the time you are 100% comfortable, with no doubt at all that you have everything that would help you decide wisely. Just delay it, maybe a few days. But in saying that just delay it, it means you don't have to do anything. When you delay it, then you have to do some more things, some more digging, some more finding out of facts, right? So that when the time comes for you to decide, everything is there. So just delay it. It's like buy a little bit more of time. Yep. So Monday, it's quite immature. No big decisions on Monday. No big decisions on Monday. And on Tuesday, we have here the 9 of Wands. It is about our strength, meaning the energy is asking us to appreciate ourselves and look back to all our victories, our achievements in the past, because from those achievements, if we are starting to have some doubts, then they can help us put us back to where we need to be, confident and self-assured about how we are and what we have achieved. The 9 of Wands is reassuring you that you have all the skills, all the wisdom, all the experience that you need to succeed, and now is the time to hang in there, not to give up, and use all that wisdom and experience to further your success. So it's like if you're feeling that you're a bit overwhelmed and you just want to stop and give up, the 9 of Wands is saying you have so much more. You have so much more to give. Do not give up now. Use your talents, your gifts, your wisdom, your experience, and you can succeed. You can come out as the victor. So on Tuesday, if there are any setbacks, use the energies to appreciate yourself and put you in that place wherein you will be comfortable with yourself again, and you will be inspired to finish what it is that you need to finish. Oh, this is quite great. On Wednesday, the energy is all about celebration, completion, harvest. Meaning, if you have been working on a project for a while, then you could rest assured that by Wednesday, things will turn smoothly and you will accomplish everything, and it is time to celebrate with friends, colleagues, and family. On Wednesday also, we might see that some of our friends might even be getting married or engaged. The energy is just about celebration, joy, sharing success, sharing the good things of life, sharing achievements. And when you share achievements, of course, you celebrate. So it's such a festive and joyful energy that we have on Wednesday. On Thursday, we have here the Eight of Cups. Okay? In the Toe Tarot, it says indolence. But what does it mean? The energy on Thursday is a little bit heavy because you might be preoccupied by attachments or things that hold you and not let you go. This could be with relationships, responsibilities, financial commitments. But with the Eight of Cups, the energy actually is asking you to hold on, pause a little bit. But when you pause, it does not mean that you need to go back. You are encouraged to move forward. And sometimes in moving forward, you have to cut the ties, because that's the only way that you can free yourself from these attachments. That is the only way that you can encourage yourself to start anew. So on Thursday, it is about starting anew, moving forward, using that energy so that you can continue in life and you can go to the next level. It is not wise to linger in such a state for a long time if you're being bound or there's such a strong attachment. You have to think about these things and set yourself free. And the energies on Thursday would be very helpful for you to do that. In saying so, you always have friends and family to ask for support. When we have the cups, it is talking about your affection, your emotional ties, but not binding attachment that could cripple you, but attachment that could actually help you. So use those things in a positive way. Use your gifts of relationships, family and friends, and ask for their support if there is something that you need to move forward to. On Friday, we have here Temperance, which is called the Art card in the Toe Tarot. So what's about it on Friday? Friday is about balance, okay? Since it's almost the weekend, we sometimes let our hair down, which is good, but sometimes we go from one extreme to the end. I guess the energy is telling us, okay, it's good to celebrate, it's good to go out there and have some fun, but in everything that you do, moderation is the key. It is quite timely because most of us go out during Fridays, right? Celebrate with friends, and then some of us get wasted. And when that happens, there are consequences. The least consequence that you can say is a terrible hangover, a headache the next morning, but those are just trivial things. But sometimes when we forget moderation, when we forget balance in our life, then the consequences are even graver or more serious. So there are many examples, like on Friday, perhaps if you're a workaholic, okay, make sure that you end your work on Friday and spend time with your family on the weekend. That is how you try to strike a balance. I mean, they could always be understanding, yes, but you always cannot expect them to always be like that. You also have to reciprocate. You have to understand them. It is not just your family who's going to be with you, but you also need to be with your family. This is just one example. So on Friday, the energy is about moderation. Make sure you strike a balance in everything. Enjoy, but strike a balance. Yep. Okay, and on Saturday, we have the Lover's card. Okay, the Lover's card is about spending time with the people that we love. It is also very similar to the card of the Nine of Wands, but in a more positive way, because it wants you to acknowledge yourself, to love yourself, not to love yourself so that you can keep on your battle or challenges, but to love yourself just because you are yourself, you know? And when you love yourself, you realize your gifts, you realize how good of a person you are, you realize how good of a person you can be to your family, to your friends. That is what the Lover's card is, keeping in touch with who you are. And in doing so, then you have the capacity to also spread love to the people around you. So Saturday is, the energy is quite timely because on the weekends we spend time with family and friends, right? And also sometimes if we decide to spend time on our own, then it is also something to think about, something to mull over. How we appreciate ourselves. Have we really been appreciating ourselves lately, or have we been hard with ourselves when we've been, faced with challenges and we cannot deliver as expected? Those things are normal, but it is intrinsic and very important for us to always appreciate ourselves. Because if we cannot appreciate ourselves, then how can we expect others to do the same? Yep. So that is the tarot focus for the next week. I'll just have a review. So Sunday is the Queen of Wands. It's all about fire and passion. Monday is the Prince of Swords, which is about decisions and thoughts, which are quite immature, so no big decisions, and the thoughts that you have, work on them. On Tuesday, it's about the Nine of Wands, which is your strength. If you are facing challenges, you can do it. You have all the skills and the gifts, experience and wisdom to do it. Do not give up now. You can do it. You're almost there. Just one more step and you're on the finish line. And then on Wednesday, we have the Four of Wands, which is the energy of celebration, of joy, of sharing achievements, engagements, weddings, accomplishments. Such a good and positive energy. And Thursday, we have here the Eight of Cups, which is basically asking you to move forward. Move forward. Do not stop. Okay, and ask the help of the people around you because it might be emotionally tough for you to move on, to cut the ties, but you can do it. You are encouraged to do that. And on Friday, temperance, moderation in everything that you do. Okay, even with a celebration, going out with friends and family, moderation. If working, try to spend time with family too. That is part of striking a balanced life. And on Saturday, it's all about how we are, how we appreciate ourselves, as beings, as us. Not because we need to accomplish something, but because we accept who we are. So that is the Tarot Weekly Focus. And I'll be back. When I get back, we will go to the free tarot readings. Okay, I have a question here from Jay of Wellington. It says, Hi Zamm, I'm going to apply beginning next year for a part-time study, which would start in 2014. I applied before and didn't get in. It is really a popular 2-year course. I am getting married February 2013, and it just would fit in with my partner's and mine's family plans. Thanks, Jay. So there was no question, but I guess what you want, Jay, is to give you an overview of how it would be with regard to this course, right? What you need to know most if there are challenges, and how perhaps you can be helped to make sure that you pass the course and everything will go according to your plan. So let me shuffle the cards for you and let's see what the cards can say. Okay, firstly it says here, the Star. Since it is still far off into the future, then you might as well take this time to really plan thoroughly, because with it as a star, it says the energy is still sort of like far from manifesting it. So, but in saying that, it means that you have to be particular about what you would like to achieve and how would you achieve them. In other words, you need to really plan and have plan A, plan B, and plan C. It is always what I am telling everybody. If you plan, it's not just one plan, but you have backup plans. But since it's still a star, it is still wanting some preparations in order for it to manifest. So since it's also in 2014, it's still too far to see what's gonna happen. What the card is saying, use this time wisely in order to plan properly. Again, we also have the Ace of Wands. Now it also says here, while planning, you also have to assess how committed you can be in this course, because you also mentioned that you will be getting married. By the time you get married and by the time the course starts, then perhaps you would be juggling many things, most especially if you would like to have a child immediately. And with the Ace of Wands, it would take a lot of passion and commitment and fire for you to be able to succeed. It means it's quite a challenging and tough preposition to think about getting into that course in 2014 and getting married and raising a family. It is something that you really need to consider, because that is part of the star. What are your goals? What are your dreams? What are the most important things in your list? What are your priorities? But again, with the Ace of Wands, it is asking you, how committed are you? Will you be able to do them all in one go, or will you just be able to do one? And you have to really think about it. And also it says here, we have here the Devil card. Do not be afraid of the Devil card. But sometimes when we have this card, it is also asking you, what do you think are the things that could stop you? It also says here with the Devil card, the things that could stop you may not necessarily be external things, but things that would be coming from within you. Doubts or uncertainties, or maybe lack of plan, or it could also be because you said you've been turned down before, you did not get into the course. That is something that you need to face and overcome. That just because you did not get into the course before, it doesn't mean that you cannot get into the course. It is something that you need to overcome. So with the Devil card, the issues and the tendencies will actually be coming from within, the conflicts, and you have to overcome them. Your challenges will not be solely coming from the outside, but internally. That is sort of like the huge question mark. How will you be able to deal with internal issues or concerns? Also, of course, one of the issues that you would be thinking is, as I said, focusing on one thing. Is it raising a family or really getting into the course? And what are your goals, your dreams, as the star said? It also says here, the Ace of Disc, you need to take a very practical and grounded approach, okay? When you do have a plan, when we talk about practicality and groundedness, then you really have to schedule everything. And it's not just scheduling, also you need to check your resources. For example, if you get married and have a child and then go to school, who's going to take care of the child? Will you have help? I mean, will the family be together in supporting you to pursue two things? Or if you don't intend to have a child, then the question is, once you're into the course, okay, when you're taking the course, and what if, for example, your partner wants to have a baby? What the Ace of This is saying, you have to have everybody on board in a very realistic view of how you would want to achieve your goal of getting into that course and finishing it. That includes waiting for the right time to raise a family so that you can pursue, okay, it's not necessarily raising a family right after you get married, so that is fine, but it will also give you more time to focus on your course and finish it. So these are the grounded approach and the practicalities that you have to consider. And last but not the least, it says here, the Queen of Wands, okay? If you're able to manage your plan and schedule and have the support of the family and wait a little bit to raise a family and prioritize this course, the Queen of Wands is saying that you have the commitment. You do have the commitment to finish this. But at the same time, you have to choose which area you will focus and which area you will give your energy the most in order to succeed. But with the Queen of Wands, you can also be very, very successful afterwards, because it's such a strong energy, and an energy that doesn't sort of like spurt or wane, but it is constant. But sometimes also The Queen of Wands is quite impatient, so you have to temper that impatience in you. And remember the Ace of Discs. Approach it in a very grounded and practical manner. Make sure that your whole family is with you, your partner's with you with this plan, so that everybody knows what to expect from each other during the time that you're studying. And remember the plan also. Use it now, so that if included in the plan is to study for this course so that you can get in, then by all means do that. Also, do not wait until the last time in 2014 before you do things to prepare to enter the course. Use your time wisely now. So I hope that helped you. And remember, with the Queen of Wands, you have everything it takes to succeed. That is the answer. It's just a matter of your strategy, your priorities, your support. I hope that helped, and many blessings to you. I'll be back. Okay, before we go to our affirmation, I would just like to invite you, if you are based in Wellington, okay, I have created the Tarot Wellington meetups. And the first meetup is scheduled for August 11, 2012 at 2 p.m. until 3 p.m. It will be held at the Wellington Central Library. This is for everybody who is enthusiastic about the tarot and also enthusiastic about the tarot as a tool to personal development and success, and also in pursuing practical and intuitive paths to finding who you are and fulfilling your soul's purpose, and also how the tarot can help us in our everyday life. But on August 11, the first Tarot Wellington meetup would just be a very informal one, so that we can meet each other, meet each kindred spirit of the tarot, and find out how we can move the group forward, plan about the coming activities for the remainder of the year. If you can go to the meetup website, I will show you the website, and you can get more information there, and you can also register, because there's a limited number of attendees that we can entertain at the moment, because it's a public venue. So I'll show you the website and go visit it. Okay, there is no cost there. It is for free, so it's also a good venue to meet people with the same interest and share our experiences. But as I said, it is quite an informal first meeting, just getting to know each other. So go to the meetup.com /tarot-wellington and find more information there. And now we go to the affirmation of the week. Well, it's not just affirmation, but also words to live by. Okay, it says that everyone is trying to accomplish something big, not realizing that life is made up of little things. It is so true. It is also reflective of our impatience sometimes. It is always good to look at the bigger picture, yeah? Of course, because when we look at the bigger picture, then we are inspired. But at the same time, in looking at the bigger picture, we really shouldn't forget that to get to that bigger picture, we need to do many little things, many small things along the way. And the accumulation of those many small things lead to the bigger picture. So even with relationships, no gesture is considered little or small as long as it is given with love. And with all those small gestures, all throughout the years, those are the memorable ones. They culminate into the totality of how we reflect and look at the quality of our relationship. I'm not just talking about romantic relationship, but relationship with our friends and family, and also as, you know, citizens of this world. So that's talking about how we give our concern to our environment and our animal friends. So the small things, they do count. Never underestimate those small things. And remember, in some relationships, sometimes we hear people, we divorce, it's not because of the big things, but the small things. The small things are also memorable, most especially if they are not favorable, meaning not positive. If they focus on negative attributes, even though they're small, it's like they're big. So in saying so, we should also treat it the same way with positive attributes. We should never underestimate the power of doing small things, because the small things leads us to the big things. So I hope you try to focus on that words to live by this week and see how it goes for the week. It is always good to have them with us for 1 week, because they're sort of like encouragements and milestones. There's a measurement or a standard that we need to pursue, or a goal that we need to achieve towards the end of the week, and we will see how we change positively. So that is all. I hope you enjoyed this webcast, and as I said, this is a continuous journey. It will still evolve until we finally get to that point of how to properly deliver this webcast. So I'll see you all next week, and for those of you who have questions, as I said, you can send them through Skype, offline messaging, or through Facebook. Go to my Facebook page, which is just Tarot Zamm, and you can post there as through messages. Okay, post through messages your questions, and I will see you again next week. And enjoy the rest of the weekend, and have a productive week ahead. Many blessings to you all.